Hello, everybody. This is Big Jonas. Happy Saturday to you all. It is June 22nd, 2019. Let's take a look at some Bitcoin incredible price action. I am on the Bitstamp monthly chart. And I wanted to start with Bitstamp because I wanted to get, a good 7, 8 years here of monthly Bitcoin price action and just how tremendous the past couple of years have been in terms of the ratio to where Bitcoin had been hovering for so many years, around $1,000 and under, to where we currently are now, blasting through $10,000 yesterday. And then you wake up today and we're $1,000 higher than where we were yesterday. So the $10,000 barrier, once broken, kind of opened the floodgates here, as we can see. And you can see we are top of candle, top of month. Still about 8 days left to go to close out this monthly candle. Getting closer to upper BB resistance, which is over $12,000 after finding and backtesting middle Bollinger support in the mid 7Ks, pushing higher. We do note the lower volume profile over the past several months. In terms of the bull market of 2017 had much more volume. So we have lower volume pushing our price action higher here. Look at a couple monthly indicators. RSI still running room to touch that 70 area. We have a stochastic off the charts here pushing very high. Both indicators spread out. Again, still running room to get to that 80 area as well. We have, I mentioned this earlier in Twitter, our first bullish cross of our MACD. We had seen this was touching a few days ago, and our histogram was just peaking bullish. And we fast forward to a couple days later, and we have a clear break and cross now of our monthly. Obviously, still have to wait to the end of the month, about a week now, to confirm this cross and our first bullish histogram here as well. Now, normally when we see these major crosses after being in the bearish stance for as long as we have, we tend to see these get rejected or at least kind of break and then kind of play around here just to confirm the actual move. I'd be surprised if this just kept on running here and our histograms kept on running as well. But as Bitcoin has done many times, it has kind of humbled us, humbled the prudent chart, the more conservative chart patterns here, and just ripped all through that. And then, here's our on balance volume on the monthly. The daily shows much stronger bullish diversions here. But we still have a ways to go to get back to that accumulation zone we had seen Bitcoin 20K. But definitely a very strong rise in our on balance volume there as well. So just a tremendous move here all in Bitcoin. I want to just make a couple notes here. EMA 12, EMA 26. What's so fascinating is that even in this bear market we basically went through, these never crossed. This is the highest time frame here, the monthly chart. These crossed bearish on every time frame below the monthly. And as you can see here, they were angled to cross bearish, but had this ricochet, which is just tremendous here. And if we go all the way back in history, let's go back here to 2014, 2015 here, we do see that they did cross. They did cross bearish for several months here. But they didn't spread down very bearishly. They didn't really accelerate their bearishness. They definitely hugged together. And after about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of a bear cross, you can see this month here on our October upthrust, pushing the close above both EMA 12 and 26 on the monthly. And then that acceleration continued here, using both of these as support all the way up on the bull run of 2017. So once again, the supports failed, but the cross never happened. And you can see this April closed out above both of these EMAs. And then ever since then, off to the races we are. Now, you notice how high the price action got when it broke above the EMA 12 here. And this was just unprecedented in terms of the spread where the price action ended up and where our nearest EMA 12 was on our monthly chart here. So running room with our price accelerating above our EMA 12. We have seen that before. And remember, the higher we do get from these supports, the more vulnerable the price can be. That when it does find a topping pattern, tends to come back very quickly and test that area as support. We can see here the EMA 12 did cradle that area of Bitcoin support when I had this really wicked wick down to the high 5Ks. And the price action was able to kind of ride that area of support until it eventually failed. So, two key indicators in our monthly that have the price way above both of those right now in that stance. I want to do a couple more indicators on the monthly, and then we'll go into some lower time frames here. I bring up my Ichimoku because listen, we broke through the weekly cloud resistance by quite a lot. So now I have to go to the next highest time frame, which is our monthly chart. We can actually see our Tenkan Sen at 11,394. Okay, and our price action hasn't even hit it yet. We did broke through Kaijin Sen resistance around 10K, and we don't even have a cloud yet because it's the monthly hasn't really even formed that particular cloud. But just tremendous price action here. And again, 11.3, 11.3, 11.3. Now, why do I keep bringing up 11.3? Well, if we take a Fibonacci, let's see what kind of artwork we have here. Let's clean this up. If we take a Fibonacci, Bitcoin 20K, Bitcoin 3K. Okay, so we have a 50%, which is right about 11.3. Oh, 11.3. Right where our Tenkan Sen resistance is. Also, right where we have this monthly candle wick off right here. So we have actually 3 months. We can see back here, November 17, February of 18, March of 18. We have 3 months where the 11.3, 11.7, and 11.6 areas were very strong resistances to Bitcoin. So that area, we bring it out here, and that kind of falls where we are right now on the underside of this resistance levels here. So the mid 11Ks historically and now technically are showing the areas of next area of resistance. And listen, I don't know how strong this area is at this point. I really don't, because breaking above, or at least if we end up closing this week above 11K, I mean, we could start looking at the golden pocket area as our real, possible price target, 13K. Corresponding with our closing candles of our 2017 blow off top area there of support. So the weekly close, the monthly close, this closes in a week and the week closes in 2 days. If either of these close above $11,000, it's probably possible, if not probable, that the higher targets are still in play. We are in a parabolic move here once again, where our price action just exponentially increases, where we have had weeks where we're only ranging a few $100 a Bitcoin, maybe 1,000. Now we're doing 1,000 more dollar reactions in a day's time here. So we're in this parabolic move, FOMO move zone here. And frankly, who's really telling how high we can truly get here in the coming weeks here, especially with a monthly close and potentially a weekly close above that $11,000 area. Triple MAs, just have our MA 50 here, still way down here, under 4K and rising, and all of our higher MAs are just much, much lower. And our TD count, the monthly is on a green 4, okay? And we have a 2 above a 1, we have a 3 above a 2, we have a 4 above a 3, all bullish counts there. And this basically shows that from a monthly standpoint, we could potentially have, July, August, September, October, heading into October, November, potentially to put in another 9 count there. Continuation. Remember, historically, Bitcoin has hit several nines in a row. 1, 2, 3 on the monthly before actually changing that directive tone of price action there from straight up to pretty much straight down. So still very early in a very long count here on our monthly chart. All right, so let's go into some lower time frames here. I'll go to the weekly candle now. Once again, a tremendous week of price action of Bitcoin. I want to bring up my Bollingers here. We have broken through weekly upper BB resistance here. Volume definitely put in a very consistent. Look at these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row. A very consistent volume. Our weekly volume indicator is on a slight uptick here. This orange line right here been very flat, slightly rising uptick here. But a close above upper BB resistance would be about 10.3, and that looks very probable at this point. Middle BB support still under 6K and rising. And once again, we are spreading out our Bollingers in a very strong stance here. Note how wide our Bollingers got when we just blasted through our upper BB there. But you also have to note that even with our bullish expanse here, we did test middle Bollinger support several times along the way up, here, before we just accelerated higher, putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive weeks in a row, closing above upper Bollinger support after this little hiccup here. So the parallel to where we are now to this zone here, where we broke up upper BB, had one corrective week where we did a bearish engulfing, followed by the bullish engulfing, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more weeks above, we could potentially be in week 2 here of a very similar pattern, blow off top to wherever this potentially does end. RSI weekly, we were looking at that 70 area as resistance, blasted above it once again. Running room to go higher here. We see historically we can get up to the 89.90 area. And this area is actually where all of our bullish runs have topped off on the RSI. So we are at 80. We have running room to get to our historical resistance RSI on the weekly. The Stoke, listen, we were topped off here for months. We did come back down. It looked like we were going to lose our 80 area here. We did not. We're finding support there now and the potential for this cross turnaround and another rip run to back to that 100 area there. So haven't seen the cross yet, looking for that confirmation, but still this move has pulled this from sliding lower to still maintaining a very strong and bullish stance. This is our MACD on the weekly. There's our higher high in our histogram, and still very spread here in our indicators with obvious running room to go. Still very much lower than our Bitcoin 20K, but keep note of our spread here. Our indicators are very spread out, and what I mean by that is this is our peak spread from the height of our blue to the height of our orange. And if we superimpose that to here, you see we are just a little bit under the maximum spread of Bitcoin's most bullishness here. Okay, so keep an eye on how wide these get. The wider they get tend to signal that resistance, and then they pull ahead tighter. So looks like there could be still a little bit more bullish spread in these to go, but getting very close to the extremes of the 2017 bull run. And then weekly on balance volume, just look at since 2012. This was our bottom here in 2015. straight up accumulation through early 2015. And you can see even in our bear market, we really never came a lot back there. We basically blasted through. Here's Bitcoin 20K. We gave a lot of that back very quickly, had a nice bounce, little bounce. Here's our lower low, kind of found support in this area. And then here is our expansion here. Very strong expansion over the past several weeks here, and still looking very strong with a higher high in the price, higher high in OBV. Let's look at some other indicators on the weekly chart here. So I want to pull up again EMA 12, EMA 26. Now this did cross bearish, and then our bull cross, the entrance here was the break of $5,500. And that was the signal on this bullish cross here to take your entry. And look how far back that was in the 5K area here. And now you see we're just expanding higher. So now we have to note that EMA 12 support on the weekly, it's about $7,600 here. That does correspond with this cluster of candle support, bottom candle supports right around that area. So any big pullback eventually will keep watch of the EMA 12 as that first kind of moving average of support spreading out wide here. Keep note again about the spread. This is an example here of maximum separation between our leader and our trailer. And you can see we got lots of running room if that was to be the case. If we do a comparison from the depth of our bear market spread, it's like about here, you can see we've actually surpassed the bullishness there. So we're more almost the same, if not a more of a bullish spread here than the worst of our bearishness we had back several months ago. Close that out. So I mentioned the cloud. Here it is. Here is our resistance. Here is our resistance. Bitcoin said F you to both of those and blasted through. So now we have the weekly now as the highest time frame where we've found cloud support over resistance, which puts the $10,000 area as more meaningful major overall cloud support. But as we've seen in lower time frames, the price has been way above this overall cloud. And we actually see this first step up here of our future cloud resistance that when kept in it could take us down all the way back down to the 6K area as we get later on into the year. But then that expands higher, putting in that 7K support as we get into next year. So this is a very long time frame period here, but weekly support, weekly cloud resistance is now cloud support. There's the bull cross, Tenkan-sen above Kaijin-sen, and just incredible move here, breaking that overall cloud resistance. Triple MA. We are still, even with this massive moves here, not in the bullish sequence we want to see. We still have 100 over 50, over 200. We want 50 over 100, over 200. MA 100 support now around 7K and rising as well. The MA 50 here, our brown line, should be accelerating over the next several weeks and looking to cross above and up into the MA 100 in the weeks to come. Close that out. TD sequential, yes. So we are on. Look at we got here's our 9. Remember this 9 we had a few weeks ago. Looking to see that 1 to 4 candle correction. We just really had that 1 candle correction. Here's our bullish engulf, and now we have a green 2 above a green 1, and could be potentially starting again a brand new cycle here. A brand new bullish count. Very unprecedented still to have a full 9, another 9, and then to do another full 9 would just be unbelievable here. But we've seen that. Here's a 9. Actually, we got right back here. So here's a 9, another 9. We only got to a 6 before we had a 1 to 4 candle correction, and then we had another 9 there. So still the TD very strong, very bullish, and potentially still signaling several more weeks of um, running room here, as long as we close out our week with this green 2 above the green 1, which would be a close of Bitcoin above 9,000, which looks very possible with a $2,000 buffer heading into the next 2 days of price action. Weekly RSI here, you know, there was a support right back here about the 80 area. Still hitting that kind of double topish area here, but obviously running room to go, and just tremendous move here all around. So this is our weekly chart, and it is very bullish. Listen, think about a couple things here about the VPVR. Volume price visual range basically shows where all the money was at certain price levels. We have all sorts of gaps in this, basically areas that have most of the price history, basically everything under $1,000. We have our newest number 2, which is the $4,000 area, which is a confluence of this area of support and resistance turn support, the breakdown of 4K, the break up of 4K, a lot of volume history in the 4Ks. Then we jump from 4K to around the 7K, mid sixes actually, with a gap here. The 6K region, which represents how long we kind of hovered here, and then that next expanse we had higher on our flash crash buy of 6K. As you can see, we don't get to that next window, literally, till that $12,000-$13,000 zone. And then after that, it's just there's not a lot of price history, not a lot of volume history, pretty much past the mid 11s here. So that's the next gap from a bullish standpoint. And in terms of these lower gaps here, I mean, yes, I do feel there is still possibilities for these to be filled with future price action, future sub 8,000, sub 7,000, potentially even sub 6,000 price action. But for where Bitcoin stands now, I'd almost be looking more at the gaps on the upside here than on the downside. So that's our weekly chart. Let's zoom into our daily candle here. Just fourth day in a row of just up, 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 up. The tire move here, unbelievable. Looking at our Bollinger Bands. Day 2 above upper BB. Our BBs aren't really that wide here. This is basically the beginning of this expansion, if you will. We do see our lower Bollinger trilling lower, responding to the volatility, obviously, of this move here. Daily RSI 80 here. Next area of resistance still in the 90s. Okay, so we still have running room before we hit that historical area of resistance. Our daily Stoke, listen, it did the wraparound. It is getting almost to 100 on our leading indicator, and our trailer is not that far behind here. So still running room to get toppy once again, to see both of these like we did here and like we did here get topped off. So even though we're high on our Stoke, there is still that running room potential. MACD, bullish spread, much higher high on our histogram. Look to see where the previous mountain resistance was set back here in May. And as you can see, we actually do have some running room to get to that point before that resistance area of continued bullishness there. This is daily OBV. I got to zoom in because we were on the weekly last time. And I mean, just a beautiful chart this really is here. You know, this has been bullishly diverging from Bitcoin's price action, a lot stronger. Here is our consolidation, breaking out bullish, busting right to this horizontal resistance right there, and just peeking its head over. So I'll make this purple as its unconfirmed breakout, but there it is. And there it is. And then basically after this, the next, historical resistance area, I mean, frankly, we're talking about like up here. So there is running room in our OBV with the break and close above this historical horizontal resistance area. And we are just right there. Higher high in OBV, higher high in the price action. That's what you want to see. Bit of our Bollingers here. Let's pull up EMA 12, EMA 26, and look at these on the daily chart. Now look how long these have been in the bullish stance. Bull breakout, find support EMA 26. Bull breakout, find support EMA 26. Bull breakout, lose both of these like we're going to cross bearishly, but we didn't, right? We didn't. We kept that bullish tone, that bullish sense, that bullish stance in the market, and then boom, boom, there we go. So next support, EMA 12 support around $9,300, and definitely still, very far away from our price action here. 12-hour chart. Uh-oh, what do we got going on here? So still very early in our 12-hour, only about 3 hours into this guy. Once we did break $11,000, profit taking is definitely coming into play here on this tremendous move here in Bitcoin's price action. Starting to see a little tiredness though on these lower time frames. So remember, you're going to see the market begin to turn on the lowest of time frames. So we basically scanned, the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and they're all bullish, right? But now we get into lower time frames here, and we're starting to see the extremes of where we currently are on our price action. We're flirting with potentially a lower high there in our histogram, little crook here in our OBV, on our MACD. OBV, still very strong here at 12-hour, but beginning to see a little bit of a turn there. Okay, obviously still early in the 12-hour. Let's go to the 6-hour. Okay, going to lower time frames here, and we're seeing how the price action is reflecting on this current pullback. And there is our RSI, just maybe hit 89, almost 90 probably. Looking to find support here in our 70 area of our 6-hour. Look how topped off our stochastic was here, fully topped off. Here's our pullback. Lost this 80 support. So our MACD, there's our lower high on our histogram. Still, we're only halfway through this 6-hour, candle here, but we actually had just had almost $1,000 pullback here in this 6-hour candle. Let's go into a lower time frame, our 4-hour candle here. Okay, remember 4-hour, we're still way above EMA 12, EMA 24. That's $10,100 there, and we're still above that on this move here. But as you can see, the lower we go on our time frames, we're seeing that bearishness move here of this rejection of the RSI, stochastic, MACD, slowly beginning to turn here on this this whatever this is, this pullback on the 4-hour. And now let's go to an hourly chart. This will be the lowest time frame I will check on. We got 20 minutes to go in this current hourly candle here. From a volatility standpoint, as you can see, we have not had an hourly candle like this pretty much all of June. This is by far our most volatile. Okay, failed to hold both of our EMAs here. I'm actually going to close these out. And I just want to see where we are in relation to our Bollinger Bands. Okay, middle BB support is around the 10.5 area on our hourly. A lot of volume here on this candle. Okay, the lower wick will be definitely very important on this hourly to see if a lot of this is basically bought up. But for now, if you were long, with leverage, obviously, this definitely took you out of your longs here, this pullback here. And if you were short, you're debating if you want to close out your short on some nice profit here, because we're going to see how much of this wick it gets bought up, when this hourly candle does close out. So these are the moves here that we're going to be seeing, I believe, over the next several days because of the potential energy that's now built up in the market. We basically move thousands of dollars in a very short amount of time, which sets the stage for potential of major volatility. But we are so high above the nearest support areas, on these higher time frames, 4-hour, 6-hour. Look how high we are from the middle of BB. I mean, we're still thousands of dollars higher here. So there's a lot of space. There's a lot of potential running room to get to these areas of support. And again, ideal middle Bollinger support close in the mid 10.5 region. So, whew, half hour. So all we've been basically seeing is from the highest of time frames as we come down, everything on the higher ones is just still very bullish. But remember, we've gained so much without having a real meaningful pullback in the price action. The consolidation we had from the break of 9K and then the supports around the $7,500 area. Since that support at $7,500, we've pretty much gone straight up ever since then. And now we're starting to see the very first signs of that volatility incoming here. Now, again, so far, every dip along this way have been buying opportunities, right? Buying opportunity, buying opportunities, okay? This could be just another opportunity to get Bitcoin in how low do we get here? 10.2. Wow. So we just had $1,000 drop and we're making up a little less than half of that there. So again, very keen to look to see how this hourly candle closes and how our 4-hour candle closes. If it's a spinning top, if it becomes much more of an upper wick or much more of a lower wick, signaling continuation here. But still, really, with this pullback, this just kind of clears out a lot of those longs that had tight stop losses and were basically forced to close out their long trades, especially if they were in leverage with this $1,000 pullback. And now we're seeing if that can get bought up as just another buying opportunity. And listen, this wick here in our daily candle, other than this one we had here back when we hit 9K on May 30th, we really haven't had a major capitulation rejection candle on the highest of time frames here. What would change that would be today's candle obviously having a mega upper wick. And for that really to happen, we'd really have to close below 10.2 if that was going to be a possibility for this daily to have that major rejection candle of the 11K break. Otherwise, a close today and more importantly, on the weekly above 11K, and these higher price targets are definitely in play. And let's face it, now that we're over $10,000, that's it. Like this market is basically now defined between holding above 10K or failing to hold above 10K and testing these lower areas of support. Historically, Bitcoin has had, even with all these major run ups, several 30%, 40% pullbacks along the way, even in its parabolic move here. And listen, a 30 to 40% pullback from where we currently are right now puts Bitcoin around $7,000, you know? And we had a bunch of those along our last parabolic move that all happened to be buying opportunities. But that kind of volatility in this market is definitely a real possibility. So this is Big Jonas. Thank you guys for spending some time with me on this fine Saturday. Hope you guys get a chance to get outside and enjoy some great summer weather now that summer has officially begun. And listen, this is very exciting for Bitcoin in general. People like me that have been through this market, through the bull run, the bear run, and now into this run here. I hope that this brings in more people into crypto, more people into Bitcoin, overall strengthens this industry and this asset class. Very optimistic for the future. But Bitcoin, the trading Bitcoin, it's all about controlling time and your emotions, having the patience of time to allow your emotions to not make you do rash, drastic, or FOMOing decisions. So keep note of how this candle gets bought up on lower time frames and how the higher time frame candles close in relationship to this volatility. It's Big Jonas. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this broadcast. Please give me that thumbs up if you enjoy my content. I will be looking forward to doing more of these YouTube videos in the coming future. I've taken a little hiatus off of YouTube, and I am definitely coming back with more content with a vengeance and try and keep my thoughts fresh and share them with you as well. Please check out my affiliate link to Bitcoin Live in the comments area. I'm a proud featured contributor to Bitcoin Live. It's a great educational platform that just puts out just great content every week, and I'm happy to offer my thoughts and content to that as well. And please remember to follow me on Twitter as well, at Big Jonas. Until next time, it's Big Jonas. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.